Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. It is the 7th of May today, but I'm filming the very evening of the 6th of May, which was the Coronation, hence the crown. I don't normally wander around in a crown, although since I had received it about 2 weeks ago, I've worn it around the house an extraordinary amount. So we thought we'd prepare for an occasion today. Unfortunately, I've had my hair tied up and the occasion it seemed to be preparing for was Halloween. But anyway, we're prepared for a coronation. I've got a little something to drink as well. Bailey's have released in the UK a pina colada flavour that they released a couple of years ago and I missed out and I didn't get any, and now I've bought 2 bottles of it and it's very, very tasty. So just in a little congratulatory tipple to His Majesty the now crowned King Charles III. So I did sit and watch it with a cup of tea, wearing the crown in my pyjamas. I must have looked a right state. To be honest, it started at 11 o'clock. Well, the actual ceremony started at 11 o'clock. It was a little earlier than I thought. I thought they would at least push it on until midday, but yeah, so I just pretty much sat in my pyjamas and stitched all day. It was marvellous. I love watching just all the pageantry of it all, seeing the coaches, seeing the horses, all the different regalia, the different uniforms, the bear skins, everything. Absolutely phenomenal. And of course, I think my highlight of it is the crowns. I love looking at the different crowns. If you haven't got this book, I can highly recommend it. It's a fabulous book. And I have 2 favourite diamonds. They're both cut from the same stone. They're Cullinan 1 and Cullinan 2. So I'll show you a little bit. Cullinan 1 is the big one in the sceptre. Cullinan 2 is this one there. It's on the front of the imperial crown. And there's a fabulous story about them finding Cullinan. And it was at the time it was the largest stone, 3,000 carats, found in South Africa. And it was actually up for sale for a couple of years before it was presented to the British government, or to the British monarchy, should I say, not the government. Don't let the government get their hands on those things. And there's a great story. It was cut by Joseph Asher, and he's got a very beautiful cut of stone named after him. And so they were moving this 3,000 carat stone in the rough from South Africa to London. And they made this huge show about all these armed guards and taking it from South Africa with Joseph Asher to the UK. And there was one point when he was on a ship and the captain of the ship sort of made this big fuss of him and said, oh, we're really pleased that you've chosen our ship to transport this very, very important diamond. And he's like, thank you very much, but you did last week. So they literally had put it in the post and sent it to the UK and then set up this massive decoy for this huge diamond. And it was cut into about 96 different stones. And I remember watching the Queen, the late Queen, talking in her Jubilee year about the different stones. And she was wearing this ginormous diamond brooch. And she was talking about Cullinan 1 and Cullinan 2. And she said, oh yes, and we had several other chips cut from it as well. Well, massive stones. She's just referring to them as chips. So anyway, I've had a lovely day. I went to St David's Cathedral last night as well for a concert. It was conducted by somebody called Ian McMillan, who's quite a famous sort of West End music producer, does a lot of conducting. He's a friend of ours, so we got fabulous tickets and we had a fabulous time. It was originally going to be a Jubilee concert, but it was literally the weekend that the Queen died, so it was rescheduled and turned into a Coronation concert, and it was amazing, really good. The London Sinfonietta provided all the music and the musicians, and they were fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Ness got to have a go on the harp for the London Sinfonietta. Once they'd finished, Ian introduced her to the harpist Beth Ann, and she got to have a little go on this enormous harp. Absolutely made her evening. Anyway, I have been stitching. I've done a little bit of stitching, not as much as I would have hoped. Say that every week. Haven't done any finishing, so Effie Pasley is still well, you'll see her again in a minute because she's still on the fabric that she was on, but I'll get there, I will get there. Before I start, I've got a shout out, and I forgot to do this last week as well. A lady called Susan Walker. Susan, I met your granddaughter in the co-op near to where I work, and she recognised me, the first time I've been recognised kind of in the wild. And she said, oh yeah, she said, every time I go round to my grand's house, you're on the telly. So, hello, give you a shout out, and it was lovely to meet your granddaughter as well. Right, so what have I stitched? I've actually got 3 finishes, all of which I didn't have as whips last week. I'd spoken about them, but I hadn't started them. So let's see. The first one was sent to me by my lovely friend Chris, and this is Dirty Annie's Merry Christmas Yarn. So I wanted to stitch this as one of my ornaments that I'm trying to stitch 1 a month. I haven't got as far as making any of them up yet, but I have stitched them. So this is April's ornament, and I literally finished it on the 1st of May. So I did most of the stitching in April, just got this done on the 1st of May. I think I'd said to you that I'd planned to use a fabric by Crafty Kate, one of the monthly club fabrics, but when I looked at it, it was just a bit too bright. So I'm going to save that for another project, and I found something that I'd already dyed. It was literally like poking out the box as if to say, this one. And so I stitched that up. I just used whatever colours were close at hand, to be perfectly honest, which is quite often how I choose colours. Can I reach them is my main goal. So it's a little bit more blue, probably a better colour, than it's showing up with those fabulous cowboy boots. Absolutely love them. So I can't wait to finish that one off. And then once I'd stitched that, I thought, well, I feel like I'm on a bit of a Christmas ornament roll, so let's get this month done and out of the way. So at the beginning of the year, I put aside, and I don't think I've brought it up, or have I? Yes, I have. I put aside 12 ornaments that I had screenshotted from the various different editions of Just Cross Stitch Christmas magazine that I've got from Readly, because Readly do the special editions as well. And this was the one for this month. It's called Prim Saint Nick by Manny Dodonna. So what I'm going to have to do is just fold the part. So that's why mine look like printouts, because I have just literally printed them out from my digital copy. It's called Saint Nick, and I stitched it on the same piece of 36 count that I had stitched Effie Pasley on, and I'll show you her in a minute because it's iron, so it's probably nice to see her. And it's a very simple little chart. I stitched it 1/2 this time for 36 count, which is what I would normally do, although I've got one later on that I have stitched 2/2, and that's going to make just a nice little ornament. If you wanted to see Frances again, here she is. She's just on the other end of this fabric, waiting to be finished off and released, but time has got away from me this week. I am an optimist when it comes for time. I always think I'm going to get things done, and I don't. But I also can't wait to share them with you. So that is my catch-22 situation, I'm afraid. So that was her from last week, and this is the original antique stitched in wool. And then I thought, well, I'd better get on. Let me just move these out of the way because I am covering up things I need to remember. And then I thought, well, I better get on and finish the other chart that I want to release, which is Maria Foskett. And I'm getting close. I'm really close. I finished the other duck juggler, and we're nearly there. There's a few little bits to add in to the border. The bit that I'm struggling with is there's a sort of a browny pink that needs to go in and a purple, and I'm just sort of trying to see what the colour balance is properly before I put those in, because they're my true sort of tricky colours. All the others seem to be quite straightforward, but they're my two tricky ones, so I'm waiting till the end and then I'll put those in. So that is Maria Foskett, and for those of you who've never seen her, the original is just there. Now she doesn't have a back on, but she does have some very, very glary glass. We've got a bit of sampler Jenga going on in this room at the moment. Probably means I've got too many, but I shall ignore that thought. I don't need that level of negativity. So I'm hoping she won't be much longer. And no, I'm not adding them to that pile, I'm adding them to that pile. And then I have done a little bit more work on Teresa Kogut Needle and Flax, which I did have a picture of, but I've nearly finished it so you can see what it looks like. This one. So this is stitched on a piece of 36 count tin roof, and I think I'm going to finish this into a little sewing pouch. So I've just got the rest of this hillock that this sheep is on, the rest of the sheaf itself, it looks like a little post box at the moment. There's a bit under the dress to come in, and I think there's a thimble up there. So I'm pretty confident that will be finished for next week. Will it be finished? Fully finished? No. But will it be done? Probably. Oh, the hoop in the middle needs a bit of an outside. But I've really liked this. Really liked. I wasn't sure about the colours to begin with on this fabric, but now they've all kind of come in, and those bright reds. Which, the thing with Teresa is, they're not really that bright a red. If you had sort of picked it just straight as a colour, you'd think it was one of the more muted ones. But then when you put it with her other sort of folk inspired colours, they really, really pop. So I love that. Her ones for the Patreon this month are all patriotic American ones, which are lovely. And I do want to stitch one. I would like to have an American sort of pattern to go out for the 4th of July. But there's also a couple in there that I think actually I could just change them slightly and they would work to be British patriotic as well. Which, as you can see, I'm not averse to a little bit of patriotism. Now, what did I stitch today whilst watching the Coronation? The answer is not what I'd planned to stitch. I had planned to stitch this. Excuse me, just need a little wet of the whistle. I had planned to stitch this, which is from Love Poppet, and it's the crown, or a crown, and I wanted to stitch a crown, and I have to say this was one of the best crowns that I had seen. It's not a huge pattern, it is 76 by 87, and the reason I didn't stitch it is because I'm short of a few of the colours, and I have placed an order, but it just didn't come in time. And I thought, do I really want to get it halfway started and then have to stop because I haven't got the right colours? So I decided that I would wait until all the colours came in. So what did I stitch instead? So what I wanted was a little design that I could stitch just during the Coronation and potentially have it finished during the live sort of broadcast. So that included the kind of run up to it when I finally managed to get Teen Titans off the telly. So we're talking probably about 20 past 10. And then all the way through till like the balcony and the fly past, I was still sort of working on it. They'd gone fishing by that point, which meant it was nice and quiet in the house. And I chose to stitch a little free design by, let me just grab it. Yep, that's all of it. Karen Weederhold, or Weediflower Creations, and this was her design. And I knew I just wanted the cipher and the part crown, because I wanted to stitch something a little similar to this that I'd done for Queen Elizabeth's 70th, I never said 70th birthday, her 70th Jubilee, Platinum Jubilee, the Platty Jubes as we called it. This one has got a black back because I finished it whilst watching the funeral. So my goal is to get what I've made before it's his funeral. So it gives me a few years, I think, although he is the oldest monarch to ever be crowned. But he's only 74 and he's quite sprightly. So I'm going to do it in the same sort of finish, and I stitched it on a piece of 32 count fabric that I hand dyed myself, and I converted it to sulky, and I added some beads. Now I'm not quite sure how well this is going to show up. It shows up really well in real life, but the C and the R. Now the design actually has a stitched purple back to it, but I decided to cut that a bit short and do it on purple fabric. And I like the way that the Edward's crown, so Edward's crown has the purple velvet inside it, so I added some purple velvet onto the inside of this crown. Now interestingly, this St Edward's crown never used to have any jewels in it. They used to borrow the jewels for the coronations up until the Queen's father, when he actually had it set properly with proper crowns, but he never wore it because he just had his appendix out, and that crown is really heavy. It's something like £5 or something like that, solid gold, and he never wore it, but he was the one that had the jewels put into it. So anyway, I digress, as I do frequently. I've bored my tutor group silly about the crown jewels this week, so there we go. And I thought, well, what are you going to put on the back of it if you are actually not going to wait and finish it in his funeral 25 years down the line, or however long it is? So I did decide to stitch the bit that says Coronation 6th of the 5th 2023 just on another part of the fabric, and then I'll make that as the disc for the back. So that will be the front and that will be the back, and then I'll have something similar to my little Elizabeth one, just for hanging up together, which I thought would be fab. So that is a freebie, so technically that could be the freebie, but I do have another one. And Silver Creek Samplers for the second month running, there's the chart for needle and flax, I knew it was there somewhere. Silver Creek Samplers for the second month running have released a little monthly freebie. Now they've also started a FlossTube channel, I noticed. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but they have started a FlossTube channel. I can't wait to get back to watching some more FlossTube. I just haven't really had the time recently, but very, very soon I shall have a bit more time. This is the freebie, May Flowers. So we had April Showers last month, which was a lovely little chart. Really want to do that. And this is May Flowers. I think they look lovely together. Really nice. Or two nice little needle books, they would be fabulous as. So I will put the link down for that. Now the chart is on Silver Creek Samplers website on their home page. It's not in the freebie section, so when you follow the link it'll take you to the home page. You just need to scroll down a little bit further and you will find the link, or you will find the download right there on the home page. Now I have a little bit of haul, and I've just realised I've forgotten one bit of it, so hang on. I'm in and out like a fiddler's elbow today. Right, so I knew you'd want to see that one, so I thought I'd better go and get it. So my haul, and I have a piece of Stitchy Kindness actually, so I'm going to start with the Stitchy Kindness. There was a lady destashing some Brenda Gervais with our needle and thread charts, and I asked her if she had this particular chart, and she didn't, but another lovely lady called Shaz commented and said that she did have it, that she would be keen to pass it on, she'd be happy to pass it on to me. And the chart that I was after, in fact I asked about two charts. One of them was this one, Grateful, Thankful, Blessed, which I have loved for, as Laura would say, 80 years. Really, really love that one, and I can't wait to get the flosses. I may actually order those pronto because I think I have a piece of fabric that would work beautifully with that. So yeah, she popped up and she said, I have that chart. You know, would you like me to send it to you? So that was lovely of her. So thank you so much, Shaz. The other one actually I'd asked about, which you can't get in this country. You can get it, still get it in America, but you can't get it in this country, is Summer at Cherry Hill Farm. Or is it just Summer at Cherry Hill? I'll put a picture up of that. So if anyone does have that in their stash, I'd be really interested in either purchasing it from you, swapping it for something. So do let me know if you've got that. Right, haul. I had my fabric of the month from Crafty Kate. Now I'm going to put this up on a whiteboard because I'm not sure whether you'll see the colours otherwise. Oh, perfect. Look at that. It even looks like it glows, which it kind of does in real life. So I get a 32 count fat eighth from her every month. So this is kind of like springy colours. It's got blues, pinks, greens. Absolutely beautiful. So I can't wait to use that one. And I also placed a little order with Create Nostalgia because there was a particular thread colour that I wanted that nobody else seemed to have. And Mary is great at this. If you've tried all the other websites, I bet you Mary's got it. And the colour I needed was Gold Leaf for a little model that I need to do. So that one. And because it's, I think, illegal to let things travel on their own, I picked up this chart. I've liked this one again for 80 years. And I saw it recently on a D-stash and just missed it. And so I thought, actually, I'll have a look and see how much it is. And it really wasn't much more than the D-stash price. So it's by All Through the Night and it's called Oh Christmas Tree. And I just think that's so gorgeous. Part of me wants to do it just green, like the model. Part of me wants to make the birds into sort of like cardinals. Part of me wants to make them into blackbirds. So yeah, we shall see. That indecision probably means that I won't get around to stitching it for another 10 years, but lovely. And I've got another one of their charts for Christmas as well. A Merry Christmas one, a red one. It's beautiful. So I got that. And my last piece of haul, I have been thinking that what I need is a bag to go to retreats with, to actually take into the stitching room. And I've been eyeing up this bag for quite a while, and I pulled the trigger this month. It's by a company called Alphabet Bags, all made in the UK. And it's this fabulous, can't even fit it in, huge tote bag, which just says, I'm going to stand up, everything on it. So they're a great company. It's really well made, really heavy duty canvas. And so I think potentially there's enough room in there, possibly. Somebody did comment, I put this up on Instagram, somebody did comment, wouldn't it be great if they did another bag that just said everything else? But they do have different wording on the front, so and different colours, but I particularly like this one. So I cannot wait to go to a retreat now with my bag. I shall be taking it to the Stitchy Day in Bristol in June. And then I've got another Stitchy Day, had a retreat in the Cotswolds in July, just going for the day. And then got another retreat in Rotherham at the end of the month of July. And then it's going to be the Great British Sampler weekend, and then it's going to be Stitch London. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. I keep signing up for these retreats. It's great. Anyway, I've waffled on enough. If you've stayed with me through all I said Jubilee, all the Coronation excitement and the general waffle, then I will see you next week. But actually, more waffle. I'm going to Hampton Court next Saturday to see the curated exhibition of all the samplers and needlework at Hampton Court Palace. So I've got to work out when I'm going to film my FlossTube. I'm definitely still filming one, but I've got to try and work out where I'm going to do it, because I'm going down to the Cotswolds after school on Friday, then going to Hampton Court and then coming straight back home. So somewhere within that time frame I will film a FlossTube, either in preparation for going to Hampton Court or sharing with you all of the amazing things that they undoubtedly have, because it is the home of the Royal School of Needlework. So that will be part of the next week and probably the week after. Anyway, I will see you soon. Stay classy, Stitchers.